Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of the UnMastered Class, where we're going to dive into the aspects of adulting that don't get enough airtime, but let's be honest, we are all secretly Googling these things. My name is Lance Pendleton.
I'm Jake Dreyfus. We'll be inviting experts and friends to help get all these questions answered. We're obviously going to learn a thing or two, and of course, we'll share a laugh along the way. And no episode would be complete without the third leg of our stool. Erin, welcome to the pod. Erin, how are you?
Doing well, excited to be here and ready to jump in.
So I'm super excited by this, Jake, and we can dig into just sort of why we thought of this and why we felt it was important. But, the one thing I want to just confront up front was, when you and I first started chatting, we said, what does the world need more of that doesn't exist? Podcasts.
Yeah.
We thought the world needs more podcasts, right? So
yeah, it just seems like a new platform that I think we're pioneering, right? So perfect time. I think we nailed it.
Yeah, and I think what we should also do is create a MySpace page while we're at it too, just to really kick in, because I just aged myself horribly. But I want your perspective right off the bat of why are we doing this? Because I have my understanding of this, but I really want to hear from you. Why did you feel like the time was right now for us to dive into this?
Yeah, I mean, I think, we've all been, and if you're a listener to this, and you're an early listener, probably you know us, we've all been part of these different networking groups, accountability groups that are focused on we're going to get better at business and better at life and better at relationships. And it's you and I were talking, it's we just still don't know a lot of the basic things about living as adults, because we have really big opinions about them, as we'll, I'm sure, experience today. So we thought, you know what? We should bring these topics to light, maybe find experts that can argue both sides, for us here, and just clear some things up so that we can move on and ideally live better lives now, actually understanding some of the basic things about our universe.
And I think it was for me, I laughed a little bit when we first started talking about this, because I was thinking, for all of the things that people sometimes come to us as being subject matter experts on,
yeah.
I feel so unprepared for the basics of life still. And I am 48 years old. At the age of 48, there are basic functions of life that I am why did no one teach me this? I have no idea. So I'm excited to jump into some of this stuff and really go through it. And I think as we've explored some of these, going back and forth with you and again, hopefully Erin being the voice of reason, it will allow us to dive in a little bit deeper into stuff that I still think somebody should have taught us when we were probably in school.
Probably. Yeah.
So I want to kick us off, because the first thing that I chuckled at was there was an article that showed up in the Wall Street Journal. And I looked at this article and I was immediately offended, wildly offended. And I showed it to my wife and she looked at it and said, yeah, no, that article's right. You're a psychopath. And I was like, what are you talking about? And so for the first topic of conversation, we're going to take a peek here at what I was highly offended by. So sleeping with socks on, is it comfort or criminal?
Oh, man. I mean, in preparation for this, knowing we were going to talk about this today, I attempted last night to sleep with socks on. I made it 4 minutes and literally threw them across the room. My dogs were confused. And it to me feels restrictive. I know we've got some research here that we're going to get to in a second. For me personally, it feels restrictive. It feels like I'm going to get hot. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but it feels like. And almost claustrophobic. I want some space.
Yeah.
I think you disagree, but.
Not only do I disagree, I want to point out that the actual title, and I got to make sure I get this right, because I'm sure, and we'll put it in there too if you want to read it and check it out, because I think it's really important. The article's title was, "If you sleep with socks on, you're a psychopath." And this was in the Wall Street Journal.
Yep.
So I'm sitting here looking at this going, that's not true, because ever since I was a child, I have slept with socks on, because here's why. My feet are cold. I'm usually cold. And so I like the comfort and security and warmth that socks bring me. I don't want my feet exposed to the world at large, and especially at bedtime at night, it's just soothing and comforting. So the idea that someone would put your talons in the bed at night, exposed to the elements, and the sheets are cold, and it's just, I can't even begin to fathom that.
But the sheets are cold momentarily. And then throughout the other 7 hours and 53 minutes of sleep, it's blazingly hot. Blazingly hot. I mean, you don't wake up in the night hot, I'm guessing.
I do wake up in the night
do.
hot, but my feet aren't
Shocker.
hot. My body is hot, but I've never once woken up in the middle of the night and gone, damn, my feet are really warm right now.
See, I think the two things are connected. I think everyone in the audience right now is nodding their head in agreement with me that you're hot. It's almost like you're wearing a hat. It's like the same thing, right? I believe our heads and our feet regulate our body temperature. Erin's nodding. I know what team she's on here.
That's what I've always heard.
I think these issues are connected. I think
the heat escapes from your head and your feet. So when you get hot in the night, the first thing I think most people do is take their feet out from under the covers.
They do.
And if they have socks on, it's not really helping you much.
Well, first of all, Erin, you're now dead to me, so congratulations. And not only are you off my Christmas card list, but you're just wrong. And here's why. Because remember, you said the heat escapes from where? Both my feet and my head.
Yeah.
So if my feet are toasty warm, it's just moving all the heat to the area to just leave my body through the area that's already out there in the open.
Are you saying you're a hot-headed person, Lance?
So anyway, moving right along.